Howdy, how's it going? We're gonna do a quick video today. Just a little song for the people. We did this one on class yesterday, so I just wanted to go real quick over it, just to showcase what it was we did. So it was a hexagon. So you know how to make a hexagon, right? You can look at how to make it with square from the other video, or you can do this rectangular method, right? So you get a paper rectangle and you fold it in half like I did before. And then you go from the corner, make sure that it's the whole line. You set it down on the line, on the middle line here, right? Although this will only give us an equilateral triangle, so we need a little extra punch. And that fold we did, well, it might be a little bit extra, but it'll help. But this is also to demonstrate how the point we're looking for is exactly that one. So it's this intersection. These two intersections, right? This line, and they intersect there, boom, boom. And then we take this corner and we put it up on that point, exactly on that point. And that should lead us to going exactly to the middle line there, to the midpoint there. So we can then use a couple of different tricks. I use this one where I turn the paper over and I use what I just folded as a guide. And then I just copied the angle right there. So I can then turn it over. I'll take this value, this distance, and put it on my length there. And that way I can copy it. So because the hexagon is a regular polygon, all sides of it are equal. Which means that because I have an edge length in here, I can just put that edge length onto the remainder of my paper here, and then I'll see where it is exactly I should stop. So I turn the paper over, and now I'm going to fold exactly where I see that this starts to disappear. So that becomes the edge of the world, and we step off the plank. There's a line here, this line that folds, it folds exactly on the shadow of the other side, is this middle line. When it's folded correctly, it'll give us the angle that we're looking for. And I can just fold it like that overlapped, and when I do fold it, I also find that this connects very nicely to the line that we just folded. Now it's just a little workaround, a little tweaking. Just make sure that everything's nice and good, nice and tight where it needs to be. So we need it to be pristine. We need it to be as exactly as we can make it. However, do not mistake that for perfection. There is no perfection under the earth. Not under the sun, not in the earth. There is no righteous man. And no one but God may be righteous. And so we set aside the idea that we can be perfect, and we just make do with the best we can. And the best we can is good enough, as it is famously stated and said by that English band from the 90s and the early 2000s that won several Grammys and prizes. Of course, I'm talking about, this would be a great time to make a joke if I knew another band that said it, but of course Radiohead. But it would be funny if I said something like REM, you know, caught you by surprise, a curveball there. That would have been a great moment for a curveball. So it does make a difference what division we choose, especially structurally. When we are trying to do tessellations, well, you know, you just keep dividing until you get to 64. Like, who cares, right? Or you just add a 3 in there, make it go to what do you like? 12. Yeah, 24 is nice. I think 24 has 3 in it, right? Yeah, because it's 12. But yeah, 24 is a nice division. And multiply that by 2, 48. That's also nice. So anyway, point being that how much you divided is good. So this is called the preliminary fold, right? The preliminary fold is when you have the vertices folded, and then you fold the opposite state, the face, right? This is a face, so a certain face. This is called the mountain. And if I turn it over, it's the opposite, right? Mountains go in, valleys go up and out, in and down. Valley, mountain, and valley. Depends on where you imagine yourself to go, right? Whatever. Point is, we need the opposite. So there's several ways to do it. I like to do it all the ways. You know, whatever works. But right now, I'm just going to show you everything by fold. So notice how these two are opposite folds, and I can click it. Click. You see how it even looks different? Click. it looks different because it's doing something different. So I click it, and the action becomes for this to contract like so. And those imperfections, those positional changes define what our pattern is going to be like. It defines what is going on to be on top and what is going to be underneath. And that is the make or break deal. So what I did was I went for this first. It was contracted, and then I kind of contracted again. You may look at that in slow motion. Thank God for YouTube and all this. And so what I did now is I kind of shifted so that all the lines are now crossed. So you can do this manually or the way I did it, but the point is that these lines have to shift, have to change. Mountain, valley, right? Once we have that, we pretty much established where it's going to be. So this design we're going to do requires us to have fourths, which is, you know, not that big a deal, not that special, but still it's pretty nice. It can give us a nice, it can give us a lot of cool relationships, believe it or not. That was not a half, that is. So again, several ways to do it. Right now I'm measuring according to this, so that if I fold this back, pop, pop, that way I can get my four sides, my four divisions sort of equal. Remember, nothing's perfect, just as long as the intention is clear. Right, 1, 2, 3, 4. Right, so we do the same on the other side, and we'll find that these things sort of relate nicely to one another. If I fold it to this one, it will give me an eighth on this side, just as much as I folded in half here. And so I'm moving by 2, which is really 1 because it's the change of face. So it goes from here, next face, and boom, where we land. No? Yes, that's where we land. No? Yes, that's where we land. And so it's nice to have it as a back and forth, back, forth, back, back, forth, back. Although, if you really want to get it funky and have fun, it's always good to have them on both sides. So if this is back, now you change it up, and that will yield benefits. So, you know, you can do that. Now the reference becomes this little guy here. I fold right on it. It all falls into place. Pop, pop. 2 down. This guy 2 down. So these are just pairs, but if I were to add, for instance, a third to this mix, I would instantly just go to 12s. 12 of them. Because I would have lines in thirds and I would have lines in fourths, and if I would combine them, they would make 12. 4 times 3 equals 12, right? But we're not going to mind that right now, because right now all we're doing is just multiplying by 2. We went for a half, and then we went for another half. The half of the half. That's a fourth. But see, I was tempted to go there because it's not there really. Although, no, it's here. See? I almost fell for it. That would have been the half of the half of the half, which is an eighth. Almost done here. Again, almost fell for it. It's 2. Good thing I didn't fold it, right? Bop, bop, bop. Okay, so now I want to accentuate a couple things. I want to accentuate this hexagram. This hexagram will represent the walls and the base of our structure. The base will be represented by the hexagon inside. This dotted line, that's my floor. And the triangle that comes off here, that's my wall. And I want the same thing, sort of, to become out of this. No, sorry, that's not it. It goes here, out. So you can see the hexagons and the hexagrams sort of become and, you know, nicely accommodate. So you can see that this point right here becomes this is going to be our focal point. It's these hexagons that appear after the hexagram. You have a hexagram, we have a hexagon. So there's actually a different variation on the class we did yesterday. The class we did yesterday, we divided the radius. Right now we're dividing the apothem, and therefore we have more space for it. But we're going to try to do the same sort of variation on the theme. So it requires us to focus on these hexagons and their centers. And we're going to do something that I like to call sacrificing space. We're going to take away space and make it so it's 3D. So as it is, it's flat, but when we take away space, it becomes a 3D object. So for this, we need these lines, all of them, to be mountains. And all these to be mountains. These hexagons need to be crossed by mountains like so. So I fold them back like so. And you notice that it's the same line. This is not a new fold, this is just the same fold but a different phase. If when you do this you miss, you will create a new fold, and that will create problems, so watch out for that. It's fine if you have problems, you know, it's part of life and all this. You can get philosophical about it, but without too much ado, it's better just to be careful. So you can see what happened here. So I'm going to take away these two triangles you see there. That rhombus, it's going to go, because this guy, A, is going to fall on B. That's what's going to happen. Bop, bop. And so I just got to keep my base intact. I got all this extra, so I can just fold that back like so. And when it folds down, it'll be wrapped up neatly in there. So I do the same thing for the next one. Just mind you, I can do that right there. Which, you know, it's kind of dubious. This is something I'm like doing on the fly almost. I don't usually apply that, but I find that recently when folding this thing, it proves to be convenient. You can see that there's a pretty tight union. Just by putting two together, you can actually start to see how tight this thing is going to be. And also because of how tight it is and how much it closes. It's going to be interesting to tie it up together in the end, because if it's closing really hard, how are we going to be inside to make sure the last one actually goes where we want it to? You see, these are the problems. So a possible solution for that would be to open these walls up in the top here. It'll help us to see through, or we can just play it by ear. You know, play it as it comes. So I say we play it as it comes for now, and if it comes too troublesome, we'll take it away. I'm not going to. Well, yeah, I am. I wasn't going to, but I am. Fuck it. Holy Lord. You know, you think it's going to be easy, and then you start doing it and you're like, whoa, how am I going to pull this off? And you got to believe that's how. You got to trust in yourself and whatnot. There's a storm of brewing. Okay, so they're sort of in position now, so what I need to do is simply just actually tighten it down. Make sure that this falls. That's pretty much what I need to do. But what do you do with a drunken sailor? What do you do with a drunken sailor? Early in the morning. And so on and so on. So the challenge here becomes to actually get this to close, because I know I'm in position, and all these things, like, they're all overlapping, they're all over the place, it's so weird, but it's possible. See, it is possible, so therefore we must have faith. We must sing our song and do the thing we need to do, and sort of impose our will on the thing, make it submit. But like it's not. This is not. I wouldn't call this violent per se. There is violence, and there is, you know, there is such a thing as violence, but this isn't it. This is more of a persuasiveness. This is persuasion. This is a tactic. This is a technique. And as you can see, I have now a very tightly wound. This is very tight. Very, very tightly. So I guess I could store things here, like so. And I guess also I could fold these back. This is what I meant when I said fold them back. You can do this to them and then expose the inside. Oh, that was lightning. I like to do my videos on natural light, which is also, it's good as much as it's bad, right? God, I hope this thing is recording. I have I have few memory, and this thing, you know, you never know how much space it's gonna take. You see that we have a very small hexagon when we did the other constructions yesterday. So we have several ones. So for instance, this is one done on forts, but on the radius. This is done on the apothem, but it's the same size of hexagon. You can see how this is smaller. Well, I did also this variation. You can make those and make them as much as you want them. This is the most basic one, right? What this does is it allows for volume. You get to have those pyramids stick out, which is advantageous if you want to use this for holding pens like so, like I do. I have all these pens and all these things, and I just put them in there. And there, it's a pencil holder. I guess I could do the same for this guy. Let's see. I've never done this one before. Pretty interesting. More tightly wound, smaller hole. Actually goes up. It does have a limit. A clear, yeah. This one I've found that you can just keep sticking them. But it does fall, you see. So each has its different strength and different weakness, you could say. But yeah, I hope you enjoy it. I don't know what the shape is called. If you want to do it for a holder like I do, I'm putting it on my other holder. This one I've had for a longer time. This is the one I use. This one has a necklace and some coins at the bottom, which is why I used to hold it down so it doesn't go sideways, right? I actually hear a little bit of the clack. And yeah, there you go. So hope you enjoyed. Until next time. And I'll be doing another video for the lessons we'll be doing on Zoom. We're on Patreon, we're on Zoom, we're on PayPal. It's cool if you support us. I paid for a year subscription to Zoom because I thought like, hey, I'm gonna be giving these classes, right? I can do them on YouTube for free, but Zoom, I found this interactive, and interactivity on Zoom is very cool. I also need to do these in Spanish, en español, por favor, para la gente que no habla inglés, yeah. Por favor, I'm trying to get this to, you know, this might be too heavy for this one, so it doesn't stand up. You can see this guy, no problem, just stands, boop. This guy, not so much. Not so much at all, this guy he's not having it. Alrighty, so hope you enjoyed. Again, I'm gonna take this away so I can get that screenshot for the thumbnail, because that's what I've been doing, because I have no production value. I guess just to make the video complete, it'd be weird if I didn't show you this one on the inside, so just to do that. So as you can see, essentially it's just another hexagon inside of a hexagon. I guess I'll open the whole thing up. I mean, you're already here, right? I already said goodbye. And lightning is brewing. But hey. So as you can see, so let's mine this hexagram that I've marked. It's on the center to the corner, contrary to this one where it was from the center to the apothem. This is the apothem, right? And this is the radius. So this is a radial division. You can see that it's here. So that's 1 unit, 2 unit, 3, and 4 fourths. And then we can see that there's another division by half. So each unit is made up of 2 units. So that means it's total 8. Okay, so now we have these in which we could do the same thing which we did before. If we did this one like the other, you can find that we have, well, a bigger pyramid, of course, and also a different kind of lock. This one has a lock. It's harder to pull off actually, but it's there. So now what we do, actually now that I'm realizing it, I'm gonna have to actually do these locks, which were a pain to pull off this morning. So maybe it wasn't as smart as I thought it was to take this apart, but hey, it'll just take a minute. I guess the cool thing about YouTube is that you can see like, well, I've seen what I want to see. And now this is just a show. So I hope you enjoy the little show. And I just recorded this on the YouTube app, so that's why there's no editing, there's no nothing. It's just like straight to the source. I have a phone which, when recording video, just goes way overboard on the size. It's like a 10-minute video will be a gigabyte. And then I have to edit that, and it'll cut the quality of it, and it takes so long, and it's just weird. But I noticed that when I record directly onto the YouTube app, which is what I'm doing now, I can just go on way longer, and the space it requires is way less. So that's what I'm doing nowadays. Whatever works, right? Way ahead of you guys. You know the song, the Drunken Sailor song? Every now and again I remember that song. I have songs stuck in my memory every now and again. You know, they'll just come to me. And it's weird songs. It's songs that I don't necessarily like. It's just songs that sort of my brain just goes like, hey, you listen to it now? Yeah, just listen to it now. I'll play it for you. And my brain just does it for me, so. I don't know why, but I'm reminded of now that I'm telling you this sort of anecdote. The other day I had Greece's, I want to say it was the Tell Me More one, but I'm not sure if it was the Shebang Shebang one at the end, which is the weirdest end to a movie. You know Grease? You know how it ends with this girl going like, you know, like, I know what I have to do. I just have to wear high heels and in black, and this guy's gonna love me. And it works. It's like the most shallow thing ever, and then the other girl who's pregnant is just like, I'm not pregnant, and then, everything's fine, I guess. Mission accomplished. Or whatever. I don't know, Grease is a weird freaking movie, man. I don't even know if that's like the American value system of the back in the day, but I know my parents love that movie. I don't think they know why exactly. I don't think people know why they like the things they do, especially in that like mass media scale. Sometimes those levels of fame, or that level of media exposure, just sometimes calls out more to a subconscious need of the id, I guess, but a collective id, you know, like the collective evil, collective bad, or not evil, not necessarily. I'm not saying Greece is evil or the devil necessarily, but hey. So what I'm trying to do now is actually put these little blocks into place so that it actually sticks, but it's pretty much done. I mean, now that's just aesthetic. It's just to hold it together because it's falling apart a little bit, right? These are not sticking, although they do hold up. I like things to be tight, so I'm going to do this off because I don't want to waste any more of your time. So thank you for listening and tuning in. I'll see you all next time, and yeah, thanks.